Good afternoon, or morning, or whatever time it is that you're watching this. My name is Simo, and welcome to the second, as I'm recording this, Streamlabs tutorial video. In this one, I'm mainly going to run through really quickly the sort of things you can do to improve your performance if you've got a slow PC, it seems to be choppy and using most of your CPU, or you're encountering the dreaded encoder overloaded message, which can be a right pain in the backside. But I'm going to try and show you some of the best settings to have the biggest impact on that that can help. So the first thing you might want to look at is here in output. And your streaming mode, if streaming is where the issue is, or if it's in recording, is to change this preset from one of these quality options to performance or max performance, or sort of low latency performance is a middle ground between low latency and performance. That's how I normally have mine during streams, because that can make quite a bit of difference. If you're recording, it's important to try and identify what's causing the issue, because if the issue is, say, you've got an old hard drive, or it's a USB stick you're recording to, and it's the USB stick that can't keep up, then it's worth trying to turn down the bitrate there, because that will make it a bit more manageable for your USB stick. Again, you can adjust the preset here to something that's lower quality. That does have quite a big impact. It's always worth checking your encoder. If you're using software and there is a hardware one available, use the hardware one, as that will perform better. And those are the main settings to check in there in terms of encoder overloaded. Over in video, one thing you can do is lower your frame rate if you can. 30 to 24, that sort of difference, people aren't going to notice. If you're doing it at 60, drop it to 30. Just lower frame rates means that less has to be processed, because you're only generating half the amount of video, and that can have a big impact. If you're doing any downscaling here, so if your base canvas resolution is bigger than your output resolution, try turning this down. So if you're on bicubic, go to bilinear. If you're on Lanczos, which I've still not checked if that's how you pronounce it, turn it down to bicubic, and then maybe even down to bilinear. Alternatively, if you're still really struggling, turn your base canvas resolution down. So if your base canvas resolution is 1080 and your output resolution is 720, turn your canvas resolution just down to 720. If both are 1080, for example, turn them both down to 720, because that means you'll be streaming at 720p, but it also means your canvas resolution is 720p. Because obviously, if you've got a 1920 by 1080 canvas, OBS has to process that at full HD, regardless of what you're streaming at, and then it crushes it to 720. But by having that 720 canvas by default, it means it doesn't have to do the crushing, and it's just less video for OBS to process because there's fewer pixels on the screen. Another setting you can turn down, coming over to this, if you're still having issues, or if the issue is particularly on the graphics card side, the options are both in streaming and recording. Turn off psychovisual tuning. This is basically a feature that sort of optimizes the bitrate, but has a fairly hefty effect on your graphics card processor usage. This is an option if you're on software encoding, but if you are using a graphics card and you're trying to play a graphics intensive game as well, and you want to not have them conflict, not have them cause too much issues, turning that down as well gives you a little bit better performance there too. And that's just about it for the sort of main things you can do to prevent the encoder being overloaded, or to optimize Streamlabs if you're using a slow PC. I hope that's enough to help sort of minimize the issues you're facing. If you have any other questions, let me know. If you have any other suggestions as well, if you've had this issue before and solved it through another way, please put it in the comments, because someone else might find that useful. And if I encounter anything down the line, I'll add to it in the comments or the description as well. But for now, best of luck with streaming. I hope this has helped. I hope your issues are slightly less bad as they were before. But for now, have a lovely rest of your day and take care.